Hey everybody, welcome to Swahili Nation and One Africa. I am glad and really happy to be here today. Usually we begin with a lot of introductions of videos and waiting of people, but today I just wanted to go straight. I didn't want to start with that. So for you guys who are here right now, joining already, um, all right, welcome. It's good to hear myself. All right, welcome everybody from everywhere. You can leave your message in the comment section if you like to do so, and let me know where you're joining from. I really appreciate that. That's amazing. A lot of things are going on, and I think it's important for us, Swahili Nation, One Africa, as well, to share what we have in our hearts and in our minds. And it's just amazing when family come together to just digest of everything that is happening. Man, there's so many things are happening in Africa. Exciting things, all right, scary things, good things, bad things. It's just a collection of everything. It's going on in Africa, and it has always been like that. But one thing that I am really happy about and really glad about is that there's a great move happening in Africa in the way you cannot imagine. There's this awakening happening in Africa and outside of Africa and everywhere. And it's incredible to see that happening. And let me just pray a little quick before I continue. God, I bless you. And I thank you for giving me this chance and an opportunity to stand here before all these people who are watching this and to share my heart and my thoughts on what is happening. But most importantly, thank you because they will also have the chance and the time to share their thoughts on this particular topic you're going to talk about today. I welcome you here. Use me as you can and help us, God. In your precious name, I pray. Amen. All right. So, like I was saying, man, so many things happening in Africa, so many great things and all kind of things. And I remember 4 years ago, when I started this movement, honestly, I didn't see a lot of people talking. Even I know there were people talking there, but maybe it wasn't online as it is right now. But there's a great move and great shift happening in Africa and outside of the continent as well. There's this awakening in African people, and it's just beautiful to see it. It's just beautiful to see Africans speaking, Africans talking, Africans sharing. We have a big group of One Africa, and it's just amazing to see the passion of people just talking about Africa and everything that concerning Africa, and how people, like, every single day they just discuss and talk about how can we change this, how can we transform this, how can we do this and that. So it's really amazing. And today I want to come here to share my thoughts on the meeting that happened actually 2 days ago, between a few presidents from Africa, 7 different countries, with the president of Ukraine first, and then later on they had a meeting with the president of Russia, Putin. And I want to digest just couple points that these leaders actually brought, and also at the end of the day, I'll share my feeling or my thoughts on this. And what I hope from you guys as well is to share your feelings about what is happening, and what really happened throughout that meeting. So basically, the 7 group of African leaders, which they basically just represent the entire continent of Africa, they created this peace mission kind of like organization or group. And they had a time to go to meet up with the president of the Ukraine, Zelenskiy, and also to meet up with the president of Russia, Putin, and pretty much convey and share 10 different points or 10 different proposals to them, to both sides. And I gotta say this is the very first act of African continent to do such a thing, because Africa has always, in a way, been excluded in international stages. You can start with United Nations organization that was created a long time ago, even before African countries were some of them got independent, right? So basically, it's United Nations, but Africa excluded, to be honest. That's why, I always say that it's impossible to have a seat in United, Council, Security Council of African countries, because it was started even before Africa was recognized as free states. So it is impossible unless we create our own stuff. So one of the things that I think for me it was highlight is that this is the very first initiative of African countries standing and actually, speaking, or, in a way proposing peace between this war that has been happening a lot. And I think a little bit later I will share the argument that a lot of Africans have, that, and one of that argument, is that, there's a lot of things happening in Africa. Why you guys are not doing the same thing, and you just go there to do about this? I'll address that a little bit later. But the first thing that I really like is that this initiative that has been taken with presidents of Africa to just go and to pursue of peace between these two different countries. It's the first initiative. So it is an historical event to happen. It is the first thing. And another side of that is that us deciding to do something on our own, without any influence, and to just take that initiative because we know that our people are affected. Our people are going through, difficult challenges because of the war that is happening. And we want to take initiative to stand at the middle because we know that we have a place. We know that we can handle it. We know that we have ability. We know that we have power to transform and to change. And so we're going to do it. I know, man. I know. I don't know. I know the West is a shock right now that Africa, they just did that because, mind you, that a lot of people who brought, all these suggestions and all these different ideas, they did not really consider both sides. Most of them, as you know, even African countries were really, addressed that we should stand with one side. And one of the things that most of African countries did right is not to pick any side in this war, because it does not concern us. We're not going to pick any side. We have diplomatic relationship with both countries. We're not going to pick side. We're just going to stay. We're just going to understand our land, and we're going to stay right there. If our countries pick a side, it would be very difficult right now to meet up with both sides. So in a way, Africa, they played in a good side, even though there was a lot of influence for us to pick sides. And mostly the world picked one side, and that was the Ukraine. But Africa, most of African leaders, they say we're not going to pick side on this. We're just going to stay on our lane and, just look at everything that is happening. And I know, one of the reasons of that is because of the relationship that we have with these countries. For example, our country here in Tanzania, we have a really deep relationship with Russia. Most of our military staffs here, they come from Russia. And most of so many other African countries, they have deep heritage and deep historical background with, with the country Russia. And one of the things I think why Africa it's really siding with this side is because in most of the projects and everything that has been happening in our countries, there's no interference in personal issues, in political issues. Like if you, Russia, come to my country, you can do whatever that you want to do that we have agreed on, but you're not going to interfere our political states or diplomatic stuff, which is exact opposite to what US or other Western countries has always been doing. They go to the country and interfere everything, even in the decision making, trying to decide for you what to do, where to go, and how to act. But Africa, we've never had issues with, these countries like Russia and Ukraine, because they've never really had to interfere in our political matters. And that's one of the reasons why there's a mutual respect between these two sides. So this was really an historical event, and it was really nice to watch. And I'm just going to lay down 10 different points that these African leaders brought on the table, and we'll go, to one after another one. And I'll, as I'm sharing this, I'll be, sharing my thoughts as well. And you guys, you can be sharing your thoughts in the comment section. At the end of this, I'll go and read them out for everybody to see. So the first point that they brought they say that, okay, we are here to listen both sides. So President Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, he told the same thing to Zelenskiy as well as Putin, that we're here to listen to both sides. That is the very first agenda of our negotiation, the very first agenda of our proposal, that we're not here to take any side. We're not here for just you, Russia. We're not here for just you, Ukraine, but we're here to listen to both sides. So before doing anything, before saying anything, our eyes and our ears are looking out to you, and we're ready to hear your concern. We're ready to hear you're ready to hear anything. That is, for me, I think it's really act of maturity. It's like you have a baby and your baby did something wrong, and you're sitting there, you're like, you know what, before I punish you, let me hear your side. What really happened? What have you done? So really, like, it's really Africa reclaiming its position in the international stages, that this is who we are. We're going to listen to you. What do you guys have in your mind? Why these wars keep going on? What do you have concern? Why this is happening? We're listening to you. It's very these guys, they really plan for this, you know. It's really, if somebody come to you, they have something to address to you, but they first want to listen to you. That is everything. You already win their hearts. All right. So that was the very first point that they had. And also the second point that they brought, these African leaders, is that war, they say war must be settled through negotiation and diplomatic win. And then he goes on and saying that war cannot go on forever. And then he goes on and say that we would like the war to be ended. Guys, war must be settled through negotiation and diplomatic means. That's the first thing. You guys, I know you've been talking, you've been trying, but we must negotiate. We must sit down and we must use everything we can to settle this, because war cannot go on forever. We cannot keep entertaining this and just let it continue forever. So there might be people who wants that war to continue. That means Africa is taking the stand that, you know, we don't want this war to continue forever. We want it to stop. And also we like the war to be ended. Our demand, we like the war to be ended. And why to be ended? Because this war, it has a very negative impact to a lot of countries across the world, but specifically and especially President Ramaphosa, he had to highlight that it has the negative impact to our countries. There's a rising up of the price of fuel. He's spoken about the wheat and all those other stuff. But this was really, really, really bold move of them, you know, speaking to these leaders that have been, you know, fighting for a long time right now. And so there's a demand there and the request for this war to end. That was the second point, which is really powerful. The third point, President Ramaphosa and the other 6 presidents, they say that de-escalation of the conflict. He said, we would like to see the de-escalation, not escalation of this conflict, but we would like to see this thing coming down, this thing, as we find a way to find peace between these two countries. We'd like to see that. We'd like to see both of you guys negotiate and start reducing this, you know, instead of killing people and hurting people. Why don't we start de-escalate everything that is happening? And point number 4, it was like, we recognize the sovereignty of the countries. And he said, in terms of the UN Charter. So he said, yeah, we recognize that. Okay, this is a really deep point, because it's basically telling Putin and Zelenskiy that, okay, you guys, I know you're fighting, you might be having a lot of issues going on, but according to the UN Charter, you know, they recognize this as a sovereign state and this as a sovereign state. So us, we must have international laws, and those international laws we follow, all of us. So, you know, we understand and we recognize the sovereignty of each country. So basically, we are telling Putin and Zelenskiy that you have your own country, they have their own country. So we must respect one another, and we must find a way to find peace for our own people, and recognize that you are an independent country and you are an independent country as well. So basically what they're saying, which is really also solid, you know, move to say. And point number 5, they said, we want a guarantee of security of all countries, both sides. The guarantee, not just negotiation, not just that we're going to talk and stop everything that is happening. No, we want you guys to guarantee to us that there will be a security of all these countries and both sides. We want that guarantee. If you give that to us, we're good. We want your word. Basically say we want your word. We want your promise that there will be a security for all these countries, which is amazing. Point number 6, it says, opening up of the movement of grain across the Black Sea. During this war, they had to close the movement of, grain in the Black Sea. So they say, okay, we want you guys, out of that good intention that you guys, you really know what is happening and you really want to stop, you want peace, then open up the movement of grain across the Black Sea. Number 7 is they want to ensure there's a humanitarian support for those in need or those who have been affected by this war. Don't withhold that, because war is the sin against humanity, and you want to see humanity strive and live and survive. So ensure the support. There are people who are willing to support, so ensure the support for them so that we can help, and especially children, women, and those people in need that they really need, the desperate need, that help, because a lot of time, you need that. Point number 8, he said, release of prisoners of war of both sides, especially children. Throughout the war, a lot of people have been brought to prison, and so they're actually, asking for that we must release the prisoners and, free them. And point number 9, which is one of my favorites, he say post-war reconstruction. Because of this war, there's a lot of destruction have been happening in the Ukraine and in different places. So we want you guys to really think about post-war construction, that this is the consequences of both of you guys, what you've done. And we must ensure everybody that we're going to reconstruct these places. And the last point, it was further engagement regards the process to end the war. Okay, this is our proposal, but we would like to see the further engagement. We would like to see both of part playing their part, work day and night, regard the process to end the war. Because war, sometimes it might not end in a single day, especially for the war that has been going on for so long like this. But you guys start engaging one another, because that hate and that rage, it must still be there. And you must stop, and then somebody might attack later on, but we must engage one another. Both of us, we have to agree that the war must not go on forever, that this is affecting our countries and our people, and we don't want to lose anybody anymore. So we should put this to an end. So those were 10 different people that these African leaders brought to presidents of President Zelenskiy and Putin. And the response from President Putin, I really love it, actually. One thing that Ramaphosa said, he said that, there's a contribution. Sitting down, they thought that there's a contribution African countries can actually make, specifically to these both countries and the conflict that is happening. I said at the beginning that for so long, Africa has been excluded in the international stages and looked down on. But this time, for Africa to take a stand and go there, for me, I see it as a positive thing, because we are sending a message out there that this thing that you guys have been trying to handle for so long, you guys have been trying to stop for so long, we Africans decided to do it on our own. We don't need to go through United Nations organization. We don't need to go through your international organization. We can go just as Africa. We are a big continent and we have a personal relationship with both countries. We can stand as Africa and bring our proposal to you. Since you guys do business with us, since you guys earn something from us and we earn something from you, we can sit together across the table and listen to one another and have the maturity conversation to end this war, to put this war to an end. That was an amazing maturity conversation I've ever seen. And shout out to President Ramaphosa for just being so bold in speaking and all the stuff. This guy was just relaxed there and just pointing out. Imagine, this is the first time Africa doing something like this. And I know a lot of people, some people are criticizing that you guys, you're going to talk about the war in Ukraine and Russia. What about the wars that are happening in Africa? What about the war that is happening in Sudan? What about the wars that is happening across the continent of Africa? You guys don't stand for that? Let me just tell you guys this, that, that should be our concern. That should be the point that we constantly talk to the African Union, the organization that is actually watching over this continent. That's their job. They have to do that. They have to do that. But this what has happened. I'm not sure if this is not African Union, by the way, because if it was African Union, then we would have seen the chairman of African Union, but this is just countries that came together like, you know what, we got to put this to an end. And I'm telling you, the world is watching, and I am pretty sure that we are going to have a breakthrough in this thing, because Putin and Africa, they have a way back relationship for so long, and there's a summit that is coming, Russia-Africa summit, that is going to happen in July. And also there's a BRICS summit that is going to be happening in South Africa. So all this summit, they will still continue to talk about this. And I am pretty sure that for the very first time, Africa is going to have a say in the international world. Because if this war is going to stop, as Putin, because Putin himself, he said this is what he said. Okay, let me finish what Ramaphosa finished. He said, okay, peace can be found. Very bold statement. He said, hey, we believe, we're certain that peace can be found. And there's a contribution as African countries we can make with great respect for both countries. And you have to understand, man, when he's saying this, when he's saying, for example, when he say at the beginning, we listen to the both sides. For me, I felt like he refers to the Westerners and how much they were taking side. They pick one side that they listen constantly, and they pick another side that they were just bashing again and again and again and again, even to the point to wish to literally just take down the president of Russia. But for him, he kept emphasizing that we're here to listen to the both sides. We're not here to take side. We're here to listen to the both sides. And also, we believe there's a contribution we can make with great respect for both countries. That's what he said. And that's how it's supposed to be. If two countries are not at peace, we should always approach those countries with no bias. With no bias. When you start taking sides, that means you believe that one person is wrong and another person is right. But the thing is, these things, they go way back a long time ago. These wars, they don't just start today. No, they go way back. Every war that you see happening in Africa or outside of Africa, it has a historical context in that war. Any conflicts that happen, they have its own historical context. So when you pick one side, you basically say that you're right and you're wrong. So Westerners and everybody that what they're doing, basically, they're picking side that, okay, Ukraine, you're right. Okay, Russia, you're wrong. That's why it never come to an end, because Putin, he kept pushing and to show and to tell them that, okay, now I'm going to show you that regardless of what you say, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to keep doing this and that just to prove you guys wrong. So basically, on my personal assessment, I feel like, everything that Putin was doing, it was just doing that to prove the point to the Western world and everybody that is watching, to tell them that, okay, you guys are picking side. You've always been doing that, because he's been telling all those kind of statements. Then I'm going to show you that I am Putin. So what is happening? Of course, you lose people. A lot of people died in the Ukraine. But for what purpose? So if finally African countries, they stood up and they're like, you know what? We believe we have a contribution to stop this war, to put this war to an end, because we have a personal relationship with you, Putin. We have a personal relationship with both of you. And we believe you guys can sit at the table, negotiate, and end this, because it has negative impact on our countries. You guys, you're matured. You finish this. And we respect both sides. We're here to listen to both sides. And we're here to pledge our concern of everything that has been happening. Very bold statement. He also said, President Ramaphosa said, time for both parties to negotiate is now. This war is causing a lot of damages, especially in Africa. It's time to start, not just to start, to actually implement these negotiations. So President Ramaphosa, he finished. And he finished by saying that this is an historical event for Africa. Africa is no longer back there at the back seats. That's why I say, man, we don't even need to ask for UN Council seats. We can create our own seats in Africa. If we have one Africa, if we stand with one another, we stick with one another, we can create our own UN Council. That will be maybe whatever, OAU Council, the OA Council, One Africa Council, you know what I'm saying? We can have our own council and act like this. When it comes to international matter, African countries will go there and we talk to these guys. Because, man, we never invaded anyone. We're one of the innocent people in the whole world. We never invaded someone. We never took advantage of anyone. We're just there, guys. Just give me a second. I'm checking my food there. Okay, guys, I'm back. Thank you for hanging there. All right, I'm making my dinner there. So, Africa, we never invaded anyone. We never took advantage of anyone. So we are in a better position to actually negotiate and demand peace across the world because we ain't guilty for anything. Anything that is happening in this world, there's someone who is responsible for that. We are responsible too for allowing them to happen, guys. But my point in this is that we've always been the one that we are on a damages side, and that's why the world is looking down on Africa. I feel like this guy, they can't do anything. But this, what African country has done is sending a message to them right at your face that we don't need your permission to do a thing. We can do things on our own. You guys, President Ramaphosa, he was having a time to get a visa. Guys, the colleagues, President Ramaphosa and the entire team that went there, they were delaying their visa, guys. The visa. Imagine the president of a country and it's very racistic action. How can you delay the visa, the pass for the president of a country? Man, for me, if that country, man, you just need to destroy the diplomatic relationship, whatever you have, because it's a shame. It's looking down on our leaders. They're delaying a visa so that he may not get a time to go there. Trying to do everything to stop us from doing anything. But this is the bold move. This is Africa sending a message that we don't need your permission. We don't need you to say that we can do this or we cannot do this. No, we have our own decision. We're going to do it. So what President Putin replied, this is what he said. He said, we immediately accept your proposal to start negotiations. Come on, man. They had to say, Putin had to say, we immediately accept your proposal to start negotiation. I love it. And he said, we are open for negotiation. We're willing. And he said, all this time that we're going to meet on July and for BRICS summit as well, I'm willing to continue to furthering this conversation. I'm willing to have this negotiation with President Zelenskiy and to put on end what is happening right away, without a doubt. Guys, that's the power of Africa when we are one. Because not just Ramaphosa went there, 7 presidents of Africa went there, representing the entire continent of Africa. Say, hey, guys, we have a diplomatic relationship with you. You guys, you need to stop because these wars are damaging our people in our countries. And now we have trouble to deal with our people in our countries because of your decision, guys. You can stop this war. This is what we can do, guys. This is what we can do as one Africa, as a strong, united Africa. And I love it because Africa is going on the right direction. I love for presidents like Ruto, William Ruto from Kenya. This guy has been delivering crazy messages, crazy speeches all over, everywhere he goes, man. President Ruto must be protected at all costs because we know these kind of leaders, they don't love them. Pray for Ruto, protect Ruto with everything you got. One day I'm going to come here to do another live stream. The matter of fact, I might be doing today or tomorrow. Ruto must be protected at any cost. He must be protected because what he says is what we believe in, is what we've been talking about all the time. This guy, he removed visas for all African diasporas to come to Kenya. He removed visas for Djibouti. It's free visa can go to Kenya. This is what we need. We need this initiative in the entire continent of Africa. And he has been talking about AU, African Union, reformation of African Union. Has been talking about in all of his speeches. These are kind of leaders we need in Africa, people who fight for Africa with everything they got. Sometimes when you listen to Ruto, you might think that this is the president of Africa, not president of Kenya, because he's just full of Africa all the time. Ruto must be protected at all costs. All Africans must stand beside Ruto and support him. Not only Kenyans, but everybody should stand with him and support him. I'm going to come talk about Ruto because I've been listening to his speech a lot. I'm going to come talk about Ruto, but coming back to my point here is that Africa is awakening. Africa is taking its lead. It's not time to ask for UN, council seat. We don't need this. We have been asking for so long time. Guys, we do not need that. We just need Africa. We just need one Africa, and we need to act on ourselves like we're in different kind of world. If we are united, if we operate together, man, we can support one another. We can transform this continent. We can remove visas. We can have one Africa passport everywhere across the continent. We can remove all these trade barriers that we have between one country and another. Man, let's come together and have a common say like what we're doing. Why are we doing just for the war in the Ukraine and Russia? Why? Why for that? Why we cannot do that for visas? Why we cannot do that for passports? So I'm coming after you now. What you've done, it's amazing. It's amazing initiative, but we want to see the same thing in Africa as well. We want to see you guys sitting down and talking about how now it's the time to have one Africa passport. That is the time to remove all these borders. Now it's the time to free these visas to our free visa countries, to have free mobilization of our people, movement of people from this country and another country. We need that. That should be the next step. That should be something that to be done right now. We don't just need African Union to do that, because they ain't doing their work. You leaders of Africa, you can do like what you've done for Zelenskiy and Ukraine. You can actually do the same thing to Congo, to Sudan, to Ethiopia. You can do the same thing. We need that oneness as African leaders, because I love the movement of African leaders right now. Here you have Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, banning, like initiating all this, you're banning of all these gay rights that have been imposed in Africa. Standing and be like, no, this is our culture. This is what we believe in. We're going to stand with this. On the other side, you have William Ruto constantly talking about reformation of AU and also talking about African currency, that it's the time for us to start trading with our own currency. You're buying something from Djibouti to Kenya and you're using dollars. Why you should use dollar? Use the local currency. Talking about how bashing Westerns again and again and again. On the other side, you have P.L.O. Lumumba, the guy I love so much. The guy I love so much. Standing there and just picking up his mind. And he say, I am unapologetic. I'm going to speak with everything I got. This is no. And nobody's going to say anything. And then he's like, hey, we can have different ideas. You guys, you don't have to agree with me in everything. Some of the things I know you don't agree with me, but you can still have a conversation and talk. That's the power of Africa's unity. That's the power of oneness in Africa that we have. This is what Africa should be like. This is what Africa should be like. Man, I love Africa. Let me just say this, man. I don't want to just be alone here talking all the time. If there's anyone here wants to share with yourself, what do you feel about this? Feel free to come in and share what you feel about this. In the same time, let me read few comments that I've seen here. True is historical. Marit, good to see you. But nothing I've seen or heard on the news here, but can also be that I missed it, had it busy. I've seen even BBC, they made a news, I know they'll be making this news with so much like anger in their heart that, oh my goodness, we have been trying to do this for all this month and nothing happened. And now African leaders are going there and Putin is saying, we immediately accept your proposal to start negotiations. And I'm telling you guys, mark my word, this war is going to stop. And it's going to stop because of this meeting that happened yesterday. It's going to stop because of Africa. I'm telling you, Africa is going to stop this war. Imagine Africans stopping the Ukraine and Russia war. Now it's the time to stop your own war. God damn it. Go and stop your own war now. It's the time to do that. What you guys have done in that peace force that you guys went to the Ukraine, you guys should go to Sudan. You guys should go to Ethiopia. You guys should go to Congo. You guys should go to each and every single country in Africa that is struggling and battling with war. You guys should do that. That task force, it should continue. And Ramaphosa, the father of peace, you guys should continue. A step backwards, the Ukraine and European have no respect for these so-called African leaders. Yeah, this is it's another opinion. As I'm saying, guys, you might have your own opinion, and that is totally okay to have your own opinion. So my brother, I don't know if it's my brother or sister, Highward, say that this is a step backward. The Ukraine and Europeans have no respect for these so-called African leaders. Let me tell you this, Howard. It's true. I believe that nobody respects Africa. I believe nobody love Africa. Even some Africans don't love Africa. So that's really sad. But also I believe in those categories, when you put them there, there's at least people that you can actually even talk to. Because at least there's some part we listen to one another. There's some part we don't interfere with one another. For instance, for me, I do not agree the relationship Africa that has with China. I do not. I know some of people, they think it's really good because they do not really interfere, but I think it's just the same way. It's the new way of colonizing Africa through aid, through loans, through all these projects, mega projects they're doing in Africa. I don't agree with it. I wish you don't do it. I wish you don't do it because our continent in Takon has been given to them, basically. We were with United States. Right now we are working. Right now we are with China. So we siding with China, basically we're giving power to China. Power to rule us, power to control us, power to do whatever they want to do. At the end of the day, we're gonna go later on, it will be Indians. Later, so we're just finishing with this relationship. Right now, most of us, we are working, we talk about Western and this and this and this, and they know, and the dollar is crashing and everything. They know it, but we're just shifting our focus from Americans. Now we're going to China. We're there already. So for me, I think it's not a healthy relationship. I think it's not. Because I think Africans, we should build our own house. And I think the only way for us to build our own house, we need to be united. We need to come together to unite ourselves and to figure out the way how we're going to improve this continent. But we don't want to be united, but we want to jump from one relationship to another relationship. As a result, we're always on the losing side, while we can be on the winning side because we are the one who are supposed to call the shots with everything we have. So I really agree with you. The step back that you see, and a lot of other Africans sees, I think yes. But after this war ends, because of this, Ukrainian, they're not going to see Africa the same way. We saw racism, act of racism when our people were moving from Ukraine. We had this live stream here. So I understand what you say. But man, we're going to stop the war that has killed and destroyed a lot of things in their country. If we stop that, it says everything. It proves something different because most of them, they were depending on Americans, that America, they will stop this, they will help them. But nothing has been provided, nothing. And they've been just losing again and again and again. They're all alone. But Africans stepping up right now and try to bring peace between these two places. So I truly believe and I understand and I agree with you what you're saying. I agree, but I believe even this meeting, it's because they saw something, because they want to achieve, because they didn't just go there because they don't have anything to achieve, man. Our leaders are not that stupid. No, they know that they need something as well. That's why they went for this. Such a different approach. Sherry, she's saying, we have had a close relationship with the USSR, even the EOTC and Russia Orthodox Church had mutual respect when the EOTC had to defend itself from the RC Church onslaught. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Nurturing global to local is the next must be Ethiopia. Love that because we don't respect each other. That's why none respect us. Exactly. I love that. I love what you say. I love what you say. Because we do not respect each other, nobody respects us. That's true. I'm telling you, the day Africa is going to be united and we have one Africa, everybody will be scared of Africa. Everybody will respect Africa. Everybody will be trying to show their good proposal to Africa. Right now, they don't respect us because we don't respect each other. I always say, guys, the reason why United States have power because it's United States. Those states is literally like countries. 50 different states is literally 50 different countries. It's our continent, we have 54 different countries and still we cannot unite. The reason why it's United States of America and we call world power is because of that. So imagine if Africa, we come together, man, the day we do that, the day we are going to regain our respect back in this world. Nobody needs UN City Council. We don't need that. I'm telling African leaders, don't even ask for that. That's ridiculous something to ask. It feels like we really need it. No, let's create our own seats in Africa. We don't need to go for UN Council. We can have our own AU Council and seats. We deal with peace like this. That task force, I'm asking again, that task force must go to Sudan, must go to Ethiopia, must go to Congo, must go to any other country in Africa that is experiencing war or conflict, must go there. If AU is not doing their job, you leaders go ahead and do that because we want peace for our continent. And you guys, you are in a position to do that. We must work together, respect each other in order to regain respect from the world. Until Africa regain her ancient, glorious time, none of us stop there. None of us. Rodney Frederick is saying, I live in the US. This place is not united all. I understand what you say. The meaning of unity we're talking about is but that's what it's called. It's called United States of America. So they might not be united, as you say, in so many different areas, but at least that's what we see. At least in so many things that they do in the name of USA. And that's why it's powerful. It's because of unity. That's my point. Even in Africa, when we say that we need one Africa, it doesn't mean that we need to agree in every single thing. The same thing to European Union. Those guys are killing each other for 500 years. But they say, you know what? We need to come together. We want the same thing. Let's come together and take advantage of Africa and other continents out there that they don't know who they are. And that's the sad thing, because Africa, until we raise up and have our own union, we are not going to be able to stand against anyone. We're not going to be able to do that. You have EU. You have USA. You have United Arab Emirates. Everywhere you have United, except in Africa. You have African Union and it doesn't even have power. Where is our unity? So unless we agree on that and come together, we're not going to be able to stand against anyone or to stand and demand anything. That should be the first priority in Africa. After this task force of peace, go to all these countries that are experiencing peace. Man, if we have the strong unity in Africa, we ain't going to allow this stuff to happen in our countries. We see something happen in Ethiopia, we stand against that. We see something happen, man, it's time for African leaders to care about other African countries. Don't be selfish and just care about your country. No, man, there's a lot of countries in Africa going through a lot, and we are one. We affect one another. That's why I love so much. I'm telling you, one of my favorite presidents right now I love is William Ruto, for standing for Africa continent. And he put his life on the line to just stand for that. We have seen the same thing in President Magufuli, RIP. He was just standing for Africa. He has his own country, but he's standing for Africa. Now you have William Ruto from Kenya. God is amazing, man. He's just raising people. Just raising people, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, since our forefathers, we are killed to stand for Africa. But man, he just keep raising people. He just keep raising people. Right now, not just raising leaders. He's raising people like us to stand for Africa. You just keep planning to take down our leaders and people who are standing for Africa's prosperity, but I'm telling you, we ain't gonna stop. This is not gonna stop. This movement, this struggle, this heart to see the unity of Africa, to see the change in our continent is not going to stop. Hallelujah. Somebody say amen. Man, I'm just so excited and so pumped with what's happening today. Right now, man, whenever you go on the internet, you see something amazing happening in Africa. Of course, you see some other bad things happening, but also you see movement. You won't stop to see Professor Lumumba talking about Africa. You won't see to see William Ruto talking. Today you see Ramaphosa. You see, man, there's a great move in Africa happening. Wake up, guys, wake up. This is the momentum we all needed. This is the time to come together. This is the time to unite together. This is the time to speak unity. This is the time to leave aside all the differences we have and to speak unity, to strive for unity, to cry for unity. It is the time. It is the time, guys. You understand that? It is the time. There's no other time like this, because the plane is already taking off. You can't afford to be left behind. This is a great move, man. I feel it in the spirit, and I thank God, man, because God has been dealing with me a lot, spiritually, physically, for a couple months. He has been really dealing with me, and I can feel it in the spirit that there's a huge shift. When I made videos about Ethiopia the other day, talking about, make it happen, and the first video that I forgot the title, man, I see those things. I see it. Guys, I see it. It's right there. So I hope everybody can see what I see. I see it in the spirit. Everything that happened in this physical world is influenced by the spirit. So it's up to you to choose the side, to be on the left side or the right side. But everything comes from the spirit. Start there. I see it, man. And I hope you who is listening, you who is watching, I hope you stand with that. And we tap into that, because it is the season. Everything has a season. The Bible says everything has a season. There's a season to cry. There's a season to laugh. There's a season to death. There's a season to life. There's a season for everything, and this is the season for unity. This is the season of change in Africa. This is the season of a rising and awakening in Africa, man. If we miss this season, another season is gonna come. We gotta do everything we can right now. This is the time not to sleep. This is the time not even to doze a little bit. It's the time to be awake and to work hard for this beautiful continent. Even if you don't understand what's the meaning of one Africa, just stand for the unity. Say, I believe unity is beautiful. I'm standing for Africa's unity. Rodney Frederick is saying the US is on the verge of civil war done for media. Man, I'll tell you this, man. People might not know this, but I follow so close of everything that is happening in the US. I follow so close, very close, because, man, our people are there all the time. I follow very closely of everything that is happening. Everything that you say, man, I see it. I see it. All these propagandas of the medias that they're always on the one side. I don't even concern about that. I don't even watch those, but I watch legitimate places that really just shows what really is happening, what's really going on. So my brother, what you're saying, I know. I know. There's a huge shock. Imagine Africa right now, we're talking about our own currency. East African community, we're going to come with our own currency. It's supposed to come, I think, in the next year, in the coming year. You see here right now, we're going to the Russia to meet up with the Putin to make sure the war is stopping. There's a Russia-Africa summit coming on July. There's a BRICS, which is taking over Africa right now, and other countries have been invited. But again, for me, I don't really talk about that because my view on that, again, I don't agree with it. My view on that is different. My view, if you ask me about BRICS, I come here to share one day. My view on BRICS or any relationship we have with China or with US or with any country is the same. We don't need that. Guys, we don't need that. We need Africa's unity. That's what we should be focusing on. That should be the first thing. Guys, it's useless. Even if we have all the countries entering BRICS, it's useless if you don't have unity. In Africa, we should know our priority. Our priority is to have unity. That's the first thing. But we keep forming unity with other different countries out there who constantly they look to benefit from us, and we are not even united ourselves. It's useless. I'll tell you the truth, man. Without unity, it's useless. If we had unity and there's a BRICS, oh my God. But it's useless right now because different countries will take their sides as well, as usual. That people will go with Chinese, people will go with, French, people that, will go with the US, people will go with European Union, people will go with, that BRICS. People will choose their sides, and we keep dividing our continent. We keep dividing because everybody has a mixed feelings with all this stuff, but we keep dividing. This stuff, they don't really unite our continent. They divide our continent. We don't need another savior to come and to bring Africa together. No, we need all Africans to stand together and to unite. That's the reason why I don't really talk about BRICS. Not because I don't believe in what they're doing, not because I don't see the good of that organization. It's not because of that, but it's because I'm just against it. I think we're making the biggest mistake all the time. We make these mistakes to jump from this relationship to another relationship. Until when are we going to keep doing that? It's not a time to form another international organization. It's not that the time. It's a time to form the strong Africa unit. It's a time to form strong one Africa. First and foremost, we should be concerned with a one Africa. That's the first and foremost. You guys who are in the group of Swahili Nation, One Africa, I don't talk anything about it. I saw sharing a lot of news about BRICS, about this and that. Sometimes I even want to say, guys, can we stop this and can we just focus on unity of Africa? Can we figure out things that we want to do? Because there's so many agendas out there that they take even our concentration on unity away, and we just keep talking about them. And it doesn't help us. It doesn't help anything. BRICS, whatever, Russia, Chinese, Americans, European Union, doesn't help us a thing if we don't have unity. It's useless. It is useless without unity. You know that. So whatever side you are on, I'll ask you this. Which side are you on? And you find Africans there with BRICS, some of them there with this, we are creating division. Again, this is how you create division. It's not a time for that. I'm not saying we should not have this organization. We can have them. But first thing first, Africa should know their priority. That the first thing we need, Africa's unity. We don't need another savior to come. We don't need another savior. Marie, thank you so much for your super chat. We don't need another savior to come and to save Africa. We need Africans to be awake, to know who we are. I'll tell you this, guys. I'm going to give you 5 fundamental questions that every single one of us, we should ask ourselves every single day before anything else. If you ask yourself these 5 fundamental questions, then, and if you can answer these questions, then it will change. Your life is in a different sphere. Let me read for you these 5 questions. I think Africa should ask. We should ask ourselves these 5 fundamental questions. The first one: who I am. Who am I? Who am I? Who are we, Africa? Who are we? Are we just kind of continent that today is jumping from this relationship to that relationship? We have been in a relationship for so long time with Western countries. Now we realize that, oh my goodness, this has been really bad. It's been damaging us for all these years. And now we're jumping to another relationship. And we're going to realize after 100 years from now that, oh my goodness, that was really bad. Our forefathers, they made mistake to have this and this. Okay, what is other unity that we need? What is this? Is it BRICS? Okay, BRICS is messing up already. Okay, which one? We're going to find another. Who am I? Who are we? Africa, who are we? Guys, we're family. But we're not family yet right now because we're divided. We need to put our house in order before engaging ourselves with any other relationships. The house needs to be in order, but we're not in order. We don't know who we are. The second question: where are we from? Where are we from? The third question: why are we here? Why are we here? Why are we here where we are today? The results of everything that is happening today is the consequences of the decision we made long time ago, after colonization and independence. What can we do? Do we know as Africa, what can we do? Do you know what we can do? And the last question: where are we going? Where do we want to go? 5 important questions Africa must ask ourselves. I'll say this in my next speech. 5 different questions. It involves identity, our source, our purpose, our potential, and our destiny. Our identity as African. We lost our identity. We are craving, we are crying for our identity. That's why we fight each other every single day. Every single day we fight each other. We're killing one another because we lost our identity. We forgot who we are. We just look at each other through the eyes, through the lens of religion and tribes and all those stuff. It's nonsense. We don't even know who we are, and we want to start another relationship with BRICS. We don't know who we are. Don't compare yourself with Russia or Brazil or India. They don't struggle with this unity or this function that we have in Africa. Our struggles are different. And there's some people who are benefited from our struggles. And they want us to be even more divided. Not focus on Africa's unity and focus on something else. Our one and the only agenda of Africa should be unity. First and foremost, nothing else, nothing more, just unity. That's the only agenda we should pursue. You have African Union Agenda 2063. You have so many different good agendas, but the only single agenda that we need is unity. That's it. We need unity. Once we have unity, it's a breakthrough to everything. Our identity, we lost it. Our source, where are we from? We don't even know where we're from. Even our name Africa, this continent was not called Africa at the first start. Where are we from? You Africans who are outside of the continent, do you know where you're from? Some of you don't even know your roots. Where were you born? Where are you from? Where are your roots? You don't know. And you don't even find it. You don't even know your source. We don't know our source. Where are we from? Purpose. Why are we here? Purpose. Why are we here today? What can we do? What can we contribute to change, to transform this continent for a living, for our kids to enjoy this beautiful continent, for the next generation? Man, I don't want to bring my kids in this divided continent that anytime war might break anywhere and people might die. Heck no. Our purpose. Why are we here? We have a purpose, man. Potential. What can we do? Do you know what we can do together? Do you know what we can do together as Africans? Unity is power. Division is weakness. That power. Do you know what we can do? Do you know the Africa's potential? It seems like everybody else knows except African leaders, except Africa, because we don't pursue unity. So many different agendas, and you cannot perform a single agenda. Where are we going? What is our destiny? Where is our destiny? Where are these countries going? Where are this continent is going? If you answer these 5 questions, if you know and you have answers to them, even in your life, you as a person, ask yourself those questions. If you have the answer to that question, then we have breakthrough. But BRICS is not a breakthrough to Africa. I see other Africans saying that, oh, this is the way out for Africa. It's not, guys. It's not. Way out for Africa is not BRICS. It's unity. It is unity. That's it. No unity, no breakthrough. I'm sorry, guys. Some of you, I might be crushing your spirit, but I'm sorry. And you know it. You know it. You know it. My family and I look forward to reallocating to the continent once we finish these final degrees. That's a great decision, Rodney, my brother. That's a great decision. Welcome to the continent. Welcome back, man. And we'll be here for y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is your home. Welcome. I decided to move back as well 2 years ago. So welcome back home. The home is beautiful. That was the best decision I've ever made, to move back home. Home is home. And Africa is your home. So welcome back, brother. Welcome back. I'm glad. My regards to you, Rodney, Frederick, and your entire family. Africa loves you. Africa waits for you. And Africa will embrace you. There'll be challenges. There'll be things you go through, to adjust to this place. But just keep your mind open that you're moving to a new place. People that look like you, but they might not act like you. But that's family. We're family. Africa is one big family with 55 different children, 54 countries in Africa, and 1 diaspora all across the world, including you, Rodney, my brother. So welcome to the continent. Be royal to Africa and be proud of that. Thank you, Marit. You're always here to encourage us and to remind us for all this stuff. It's very important. Very important. I will come here. I'll have another stream. I will talk about, William Ruto another day. I'll have another stream. I'll prepare another stream. I'll talk about BRICS. I'll just lay down my, maybe stream, or I'll just create a video, Yeah. Anyways, guys, so that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys today. And thank you for you all who also commented. I got a time to read your comments and share here. And for those who are watching, this after the live finish, please just continue to, leave your comments as well in the comment section for us to know. But all in all, kudos to this Peace Task Force and for what they've done. And I know the results will be positive. And it's my ask that the same task force will go to will go to Sudan, will go to Ethiopia, will go to Congo and some other countries in Africa to bring about reconciliation. We need a reconciliation in Africa, and I think it's the time for that. Let me pray a little quick, and I'll be leaving here. God, I thank you for today. Thank you for this stream. Thank you for all that we've talked today. Thank you because you've been here. Thank you because you love this continent so much, and so you're raising generation that will fight, will stand, will speak just life to this continent. God, we speak life to this continent. This is not the poorest continent in the world. We rebuke that in Jesus' name. This is the blessed continent, and how people, God, are blessed people. And we are going, God, to see everything come to an existence because you are with us and you're always there with us. We pray for all those countries that are struggling with different conflicts in different areas. God, we pray for peace, and we're going to keep to pursue and to talk and to just, implement that peace, God, across this continent of Africa. We'll give you praise and honor. Bless everybody who has been here today for their sharing and their listenings, and those who will be watching later. God, I pray blessing over them. I pray your mighty hands may touch them wherever they are. In your precious name, Jesus Christ, I pray and I believe. Amen. Guys, thank you. Appreciate.